Tonight's headlines: new bin Laden tape calls for suicide attacks on Americans. CIA chief says dirty bomb attack could come this week. CBS News is told U.S. has planned to get Iraq war resolution through the UN Security Council. Also tonight, gasoline prices race toward record highs. Eye on America, investigating home security systems. Is your system worth it? New police policies may change your mind. And a look at the world before a single star was born. New science on the birth of the universe tonight.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. There is new evidence that Osama bin Laden may well be alive and plotting new terror attacks. On an audio tape released today, and it appears to be authentic, bin Laden calls on Muslims everywhere to help defend Iraq by attacking Americans and their allies with, among other things, suicide bombings. This comes as the director of the CIA is warning that intelligence points to a possible terror attack as soon as this week, possibly with the so-called dirty bomb. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin begins our coverage.
Intelligence analysts say it sounds like Osama bin Laden rallying Muslims against the United States in the looming war against Iraq and urging the use of suicide tactics. We stress the importance of suicide bombings against the enemy, he said. These attacks that have scared Americans and Israelis like never before. To buck up the morale of Iraqis facing an onslaught by the world's most powerful military, bin Laden told them not to fear America's laser-guided bombs, which failed to kill him when he was trapped in the caves of Tora Bora. For more than 2 hours, bombs were dropped on us, about 30 bombs, he says. But the American troops did not dare storm our stronghold because they were cowards. Bin Laden also hurled an insult at Saddam Hussein, calling his government an infidel regime. But Secretary of State Powell said the bin Laden tape confirms the case made last week at the UN about the links between Iraq and al-Qaeda, links the administration is citing as one of the prime justifications for war.
Where once again he speaks to the people of Iraq and talks about their struggle and how he is in partnership with Iraq. This nexus between terrorists and states that are developing weapons of mass destruction can no longer be looked away from and ignored.
If so, then bin Laden is also confirming something else that cannot be ignored. An American military attack on Iraq is likely to trigger an al-Qaeda terrorist attack on the U.S. With the terrorist threat already rated as high as it's ever been since 9/11, CIA Director Tenet gave a chilling description of intelligence pointing to a potential attack which could involve a so-called dirty bomb and come as soon as the annual Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca ends.
The information we have points to plots aimed at targets on two fronts, in the United States and on the Arabian Peninsula. It points to plots timed to occur as early as the end of the Hajj, which occurs late this week, and it points to plots that could include the use of a radiological dispersal device, as well as poisons and chemicals.
And now the CIA has another piece of intelligence, since in the past the release of a bin Laden tape has been followed in short order by another al-Qaeda attack. Dan?
David Martin reporting live from the Pentagon. Even before this latest bin Laden tape, the United States was on orange alert, the second highest threat level, meaning the Bush administration believes there is a high risk of a terror attack. CBS News correspondent Bob Orr looks at how the government and citizens are responding to the alert.
The Coast Guard stepped up patrols in the waters off San Francisco today after a suspicious inflatable boat was reported overnight running with no lights near the Bay Bridge. And at roll call in Chicago, the 1st District Police Tactical Squad received specific orders.
Of course, pay special attention to all water facilities, transportation facilities, utility hub stations like ComEd.
4 days after raising the nation's terror alert level from elevated to high, federal officials warn al-Qaeda cells inside the United States present a continuing threat.
And within our own country, the organization maintains the ability and the intent to inflict significant casualties in the United States with little warning.
In New York and Washington, 2 cities already hit by al-Qaeda, more police officers have been assigned to train stations and subways. And all across America, airports are on higher alert for possible truck bombs.
Afternoon, sir. We're doing a routine security check of vehicles.
High-rise building owners are being urged to secure heating and cooling systems so terrorists cannot use them to spread biological or chemical agents. And for the first time, Homeland Security officials recommend citizens prepare disaster supply kits to include a 3-day supply of water and food, flashlights, batteries, and radios, even plastic sheeting and duct tape to seal windows and doors against a bio or chemical attack. The new guidelines set off a buying spree at a Washington hardware store.
It seemed like almost every other customer was coming in for plastic sheeting, duct tape.
Though some customers weren't sure why they were buying.
I really don't know what plastic sheeting is going to do.
I think the prospects of a terrorist attack that would require us to seal up a room with plastic and duct tape is low, very low, but not impossible.
Security experts say as long as al-Qaeda remains capable of attacks, threats will be part of American life. The challenge for everyone is to find the right balance between preparation and paranoia. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
The same balancing act is going on in Britain, where the military is standing guard tonight at London's sprawling Heathrow Airport. And that, as CBS's Richard Roth reports, is only part of the precautions the British are taking.
Tanks and more than 400 British troops took up guard duty in an extraordinary dawn deployment at Europe's busiest airport.
It's kind of scary, I guess, but as long as they're helping us, it's good.
At first, Scotland Yard was matter of fact.
The decision is being made for good reasons and for reassurance and the safety of the public.
But the troops, 1,000 police, and roadblocks around Heathrow Airport were put in place for more than just reassurance. Late today, British officials explained the deployment was in response to a specific threat. They refused to elaborate except to call this an ongoing operation. Police sources, though, said the measures were partly designed to counter a threat to a low-flying plane, like the 2 missiles fired in Mombasa, Kenya last November, which missed an Israeli airliner taking off. While police here speculated terrorists might time an attack to coincide with this week's Muslim holiday of Eid, a radical Islamic cleric made the warning specific, telling BBC Radio people should take precautions. Keep away, he said, from government buildings and financial institutions. The advice from British officials, be alert, not alarmed. Richard Roth, CBS News, London.
In the showdown with Saddam, President Bush is pushing now for a new UN Security Council resolution authorizing a war to disarm Saddam, and he's pushing for it soon. CBS News White House correspondent John Roberts reports tonight that the chances, as the White House sees them, are growing that the president will get what he wants. John?
Dan, sources tell CBS News tonight that the White House may move to begin negotiations on a second United Nations resolution next Monday, 3 days after Hans Blix reports back to the Security Council. And they are optimistic that despite threats from France and now Russia to veto any swift move toward war, that the president will get the resolution passed. Now, National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice spent the day up in New York today talking with Hans Blix, urging him to present a clear and unvarnished assessment of the facts on the ground in Iraq and to not let the potential consequences of his presentation influence him into softening the facts. To hear the White House expressing optimism tonight would seem to be ignoring the facts. China today joined with France and Russia, creating a 3-2 split among the veto-bearing members of the Security Council. But White House officials insist tonight the public pronouncements are not necessarily reflective of the private conversations that are taking place at the highest levels. Dan?
Reporting live from the White House, John Roberts. The indications that the Security Council may be coming around were not mirrored today at NATO headquarters in Brussels. 3 members of the alliance, France, Germany, and Belgium, are refusing to join the rest in preparing for a U.S.-led war with Iraq. CBS's Tom Fenton has the latest on the NATO rift.
Time is running out. It will take 30 days to move Patriot missiles to Turkey to protect its border with Iraq. Today, the Dutch decided they could wait no longer and announced they're sending 100 missiles on their own. At NATO, Germany, France, and Belgium are still stiff-arming the 16 other NATO members who want to take joint action now to aid Turkey in case of war. British tabloids are asking whether France and Germany have forgotten the American liberation of Europe in World War II. And Foreign Secretary Jack Straw warned that history will not pardon inaction.
The descent into war in the 1930s is a searing reminder of the dangers of turning a blind eye whilst international law is subverted by the law of the jungle.
European opinion polls confirm how wide the rift has become. More than half the Germans polled recently agreed with the statement, the United States is a nation of warmongers. And even in Britain, 1 in 3 think America is a bigger threat to world peace than Iraq. Tom Fenton, CBS News, NATO headquarters, Belgium.
The chief UN arms inspector, Hans Blick, urged Iraqi officials today to, quote, produce results about banned weapons in time for what could be his, Blick's, final report to the Security Council on Friday. But as CBS's Mark Phillips reports from Baghdad, Saddam Hussein is trying to appear confident that things are going his way.
The Iraqis were told today that they're winning the war, the worldwide propaganda war that's raging over whether a real shooting war takes place here. The announcement came during the traditional declaration of loyalty to Saddam Hussein on one of the major Islamic holidays, the Eid al-Adha. Saddam is usually told what he wants to hear, and today he was told the U.S. was becoming more and more isolated, while support for Iraq was increasing. To add to the diplomatic peace effort, the Pope's special envoy, Cardinal Etchegaray, has now arrived. He says to pressure Saddam into more cooperation with the UN. But Saddam told his people that war was still very likely, and told them again that Iraq will fight. Dan?
Mark Phillips reporting live from Baghdad. The U.S. military Central Command says American and British jets bombed an Iraqi missile site today, but this time it wasn't an anti-aircraft missile. A spokesman says it was a mobile surface-to-surface missile caught in the southern no-fly zone near the Iraqi city of Basra. It's not clear if the missile was one of Iraq's potent Scuds. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, why he is suddenly one of the busiest men in the whole USA.
After a meal like this, all you want to feel in your stomach is a good belly laugh. That's why for gassy foods, there's Beano. Taken right before you eat, Beano's natural enzyme helps prevent gas before it even starts. Enjoy food without gas.
It's a beautiful morning.
Ask your doctor about Vioxx, a prescription medicine from Merck. And find out if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx.
C. Move. Beat. The future of vitamin C is here. Ester C, a patented non-acidic vitamin C that supports your immune system and the health of your eyes, joints, and cardiovascular system. Don't settle for less. Ester C, your body will know the difference.
Right now during Lobster Fest, we've got the best thing to appear on pizza since pepperoni. It's lobster. Try our new delicious lobster pizza appetizer, topped with fresh tomatoes, basil, parmesan, and did we mention lobster? Lobster pizza right now at Red Lobster.
Could have seen it coming. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
Still doing those bills, hon?
Just resting with a credit card balance.
You've been feeding on those high interest rates.
I just switched our balance over to a Capital One no-hassle card. You're gonna save $500 a year.
$500?
Switch your high-interest balance to the Capital One no-hassle card for the nation's lowest long-term fixed rates. You could save up to $500 a year.
What's in your wallet?
Inflation in this country has been well under control for a long time now, but there's been a major outbreak of it at the gas station. Pump prices nationwide are the highest in 2.5 years. CBS's Anthony Mason reports what's behind the inflation at the station.
At his Los Angeles service station, Eitan Rosenberg was raising gas prices again today.
We've raised it 4 times in less than 7 days.
The price of premium?
$2 for the good stuff, and I used to put the good stuff in my car. Now I can't.
The cost of a gallon of gas is up 45% from a year ago. So are other petroleum products. Home heating oil, 51 cents a gallon last winter, is more than double that this year.
Do you know why?
Uncertainty over the situation in Iraq is one reason.
Probably the main reason is the Venezuelan strike.
Violence and strikes in Venezuela shut down our third largest oil supplier for weeks. Venezuela is pumping again, but only at a third of its capacity. And while OPEC has offered some relief, it's come from a most unlikely source.
It was Iraq that increased oil production dramatically to try to make up for the loss of Venezuelan oil. Obviously, we're not going to be able to count on that oil for any period of time.
Meanwhile, our oil inventories continue to dwindle.
We actually post the inventory numbers up on the board, and they're at 30-year lows.
Scott Hess is a trader on the New York Mercantile Exchange, where a barrel of crude sold for $35 today.
Oil can go quite a bit north of $35. It could go north of $50 if there's some sort of supply disruption from the Middle East.
Of course, that would cause another jump in pump prices. On the other hand, traders say a quick resolution to an Iraqi conflict could bring gas prices down in a hurry. The message to drivers? Hang on. It could be a bumpy ride. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
In the investigation of the Shuttle Columbia tragedy, the independent panel looking for answers says there's a chance we may never know what went wrong because, among other reasons, the debris is spread over such a wide area. Some of the 12,000 pieces already collected were being trucked today from an Air Force base in Louisiana back to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. In Texas, some prison inmates were pressed into service to help search for more debris. On the high frontier today, the 3 men still up there on the International Space Station faced the cameras for the first time since the shuttle tragedy. The 2 Americans and 1 Russian said their isolation in orbit intensified their sadness. They've been up there since November, but said they're prepared to stay a lot longer. Ahead on the CBS Evening News, Eye on America. If you bought a home security system, you may find a new police response policy alarming.
Just think, 1 rich, chocolatey, Viactive soft calcium chew twice every day gives you 100% of the calcium you need. You may be all grown up, but you don't have to feel that way. Viactive. Be sweet to your bones.
Marie Callender began every recipe the same way, with care. And her chicken pot pie was no exception. Marie used big tender chunks of juicy white meat chicken, farm-fresh vegetables, and a golden flaky crust she always made from scratch. Marie Callender put her heart into everything she made. And to this day, we're still making it Marie's way. Marie Callender's chicken pot pie has a delicious golden flaky crust that's still made from scratch in your grocer's freezer, made with the care of Marie.
Do you know about the purple pill called Nexium?
I know.
You should know about it too. Talk to your doctor about whether Nexium is right for you.
Find out about the purple pill called Nexium.
For unbearable, dry, itchy skin, there's a lotion so effective it's in the itch care aisle. Lanacane Body Lotion. It's medicated, vitamin-enriched, helps heal itch-causing dryness, even through a winter's nap. Lanacane Body Lotion.
We are a family company, and we have been for 5 generations. In many ways, taking care of one's home is just like taking care of a family, and we've never lost sight of that. We make products that are useful and make your life easier. A family company is what we are.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Oh, hold on, Sparky. My back is aching.
My shoulder is sore.
When you need relief,
Try Bear Extra Strength Back and Body. It soothes aching backs and sore muscles with the trusted strength of Bear aspirin to work effectively at the site of pain, plus a special pain relief enhancer. Nothing works better than Bear Back and Body. Not Advil, not Tylenol. Get moving again pain-free. Bear Back and Body.
Osama bin Laden. For over 16 months, he has been the most wanted man on the planet, the subject of a worldwide manhunt. So where is he hiding? Why haven't we been able to find him? And is there more to the story? It's time for a reality check tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
In the presidential campaign, Democratic Senator John Kerry of Massachusetts says he'll have surgery tomorrow for prostate cancer. Kerry, who is 59 years old, says his prognosis for full recovery is good and that this will not affect his run for the presidential nomination. Former White House Press Secretary Ronald Ziegler has died. This may be the most enduring image of Ron Ziegler, shoved by an angry President Richard Nixon as Ziegler was ordered to keep reporters away at the height of the criminal conspiracy known as the Watergate scandal. It was Ron Ziegler who once branded Watergate a, quote, third-rate burglary. Ron Ziegler, a gentle native son of Kentucky, dead of a heart attack at age 63. Police departments across this country are increasingly concerned about home security alarms. One big city police department is changing its policy for responding to them, and other departments may follow the lead, as CBS's Sandra Hughes reports in tonight's Eye on America.
It's a terrifying sound for Los Angeles homeowner Melrita Fortson, who's been burglarized twice before.
It instills fear in you. I reached a point when my daughter was younger. I would lock them in the car. I would open the door, survey the house, and then go back and bring them in.
For police, it's the dreaded sound of wasted time and money.
Demonstrating units in 1783, 1783.
According to the Justice Department, 98% of all burglar alarm calls nationwide are false.
Los Angeles Police Department.
Los Angeles police officers often waste up to 4 hours a day on false alarms.
It's because the alarms are false. The whole issue of burglar alarms in many instances is protecting against a threat that's not really there.
Worse still, says Los Angeles new police chief Bill Bratton, his officers made only one arrest as a result of a burglar alarm in all of last year. So he made a bold and controversial decision. For the first time ever, the Los Angeles police will no longer respond to burglar alarms unless they are officially verified. That means before the police will come to your house, your alarm must be verified by a person, either you, a neighbor, or a guard hired by your alarm company. In a city where even the best homes have bars on the windows, this policy has infuriated people from Beverly Hills to South Central, who came screaming down to City Hall.
What the heck's gonna happen to my mama, Lillian Mobley? What's gonna happen to Willa Moore? Can she haul a gun and a stick too?
We're saying to the robber, come on in, have a seat, and just take your time and pick out what you want and then go.
We've had the alarm go off at your residence. Alarm companies say the new policy is a recipe for disaster.
I call their word verified a pretty way to call it no response.
Surprisingly, in smaller cities like Salt Lake City, Utah, which already adopted a non-response policy, home break-ins actually decreased. But don't tell that to Melrita Fortson.
I have no choice but to protect myself. And if I have to buy a gun to do it, then that's what I will do.
What burns her even more is that while she'll have to fend for herself, the policy has one loud exception. City council members and city officials are exempt from the law and will still receive priority response when a burglar alarm blares. In Los Angeles, this is Sandra Hughes for Eye on America.
Coming up next here on the CBS Evening News, new images from the birth of the universe billions of years ago. What they mean in just a moment.
I don't like to hurt me for nothing. If I can do that without having to hurt myself, then I'll do it.
One Touch Ultra requires less blood, so you can test on your arm where it's less painful.
I'll do it every time I should.
The One Touch Ultra.
With Crest
Crest White Strips, the strip stays for 30 minutes, so it whitens 5 times better. Now we're talking. Crest White Strips. The secret to a whiter smile is in the strip.
I used to get so many financial statements each month. Bank statements, stocks, 401ks.
Yeah.
Too much.
And now?
I've got one team of Merrill Lynch financial advisors working beyond stocks.
For instance?
Investments, mortgages, even cash management. One strong perspective. So I can relax. Which isn't easy for me.
Introducing Total Merrill. We see your financial life in total. Grandpa, how come you always chug your Metamucil?
Because if Grandpa doesn't drink his fiber fast, it gets thick and gritty.
Mommy doesn't chug her fiber?
That's because Mommy found an easier way to take fiber. Benefiber.
Benefiber?
It never gets thick and gritty like Metamucil can.
So Mommy doesn't have to chug it.
Benefiber's taste-free, too. Mommy can even put it in her coffee or yogurt.
Mommy's pretty smart.
Benefiber makes taking fiber easier.
These things are amazing.
Introducing Saran disposable cutting sheets.
No more worrying about messes on my kitchen counters, in my restaurant, or at home. They soak up the juicy, germy mess, then just toss the whole thing.
New disposable cutting sheets from Saran. Find them with other Saran products.
If you stop hormone replacement therapy, would your bones be protected? Significant bone loss can occur within the first year of stopping hormone replacement therapy. Talk to your doctor about a bone density test. It's quick and painless and the best way to measure the health of your bones. And fortunately, there are once-weekly hormone-free treatments that can actually help reverse bone loss. Why wait?
It's a simple test.
Ask your doctor about a bone density test.
Coming up tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, they attacked their own father with a hammer, nearly killing him. Today, one of the two brothers accused of trying to kill their dad talks to News Channel 5.
Yale researchers are reporting some surprising news about very premature babies, and the news is good. It turns out many who were considered borderline mentally retarded substantially improved their IQs by age 8. The infants in this study weighed only about 2 pounds at birth. We end tonight at the beginning with science news from the birth of the world and the dawn of time. NASA today showed off the most detailed images yet of the early universe, just 350,000 years after the Big Bang that started it. Using a satellite 1 million miles from Earth to map temperature changes, scientists created this image, showing the universe even before the stars were born. The yellow dots are tiny ripples in the cosmic temperature. And here you see the formation of hot gases, and then the first stars, igniting just 200 million years after the Big Bang, much earlier than thought. NASA and Princeton scientists now conclude the universe is 13.7 billion years old, give or take. And the latest measurements also lead to another remarkable discovery. Only 4% of the universe is composed of atoms as we know them. The rest is all mystery matter and exotic dark energy. One more thing, the scientists say not to worry. These new findings indicate the universe will not collapse. It will keep on expanding forever. And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. Meet you right here back tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com. AOL keyword CBS News.
This is CBS.